Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are live with the Tim Gillette Show. I am your host, Tim Gillette, and this show is not about me, even though it is named after me. Our show is designed to bring you some of the most interesting people on the planet, the businesses they're doing, the charities they're running, the websites they have up and going, the influencers are connecting, the people in world that they are changing. It's all about them. It just happens to be my show, and it's named after me. Each week, I bring you 2 episodes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I try to have a guest pretty much all the time. Every now and then, I don't have a guest, and I don't come live. But every guest, for the most part, I get to know live on air for the first time, interviewing them and asking them questions. Today's guest, a little bit different. Shelly Williams and I are in a mastermind in one of the many masterminds that I am part of, all right, which is something I always encourage people, be in a mastermind with people. I'm in several of them. I host a mastermind, which is the best mastermind. So you go try out all the other masterminds, then you come to mine. That's how it happens. But the best people are in mine. But Shelly and I are in another mastermind, and I just kind of brought it up, and I said, hey, Shelly, to the group, I said, why don't you come on the show? Shelly does have the website. She does have things moving and shaking, all right? She is someone who's doing things that I like to interview. She checked all the boxes of what we want on the show. So I'm going to get to know her a little bit better today on the show because, I really don't know the in-depth, deep Shelly. I'm going to find out about her today, and I'm going to do it with you. You ready, guys? Here we go. Let's bring Shelly up here. Hello, Shelly.
Hello, everyone. How are you? I'm excited.
Cool. So, by the way, I know you're in Philadelphia. What's the weather like in Philadelphia this week?
It's cold, it's rainy, it's snowing, it's off, it's on. It's just a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it's cold here. It's 48 degrees, cold. Last week we had super cold.
Yeah.
What you would call cold, but we call it super cold down here in Texas.
I mean, I call it super cold too, but I just am used to it. But I don't like it either,
Yeah. So, I mean, and actually, I was talking with a gentleman this morning, Shelly, at the coffee shop, who actually had roots in Philadelphia. He's lived here in Dallas, too, for years. He was a younger gentleman. And we were discussing, and my mom's with me, so we're discussing the things about Philadelphia that's cool, right? Number one, I moved here in 1998 to Dallas, Texas, from the Philadelphia area, and I am not a big NFL fan, but I am an Eagles fan because I grew up in Philly area, right? And I said to myself, even though I'm not a Cowboys fan, I said, it'd be cool to live in a town that wins the Super Bowl, because when I moved here, the idea that Philadelphia would ever make a Super Bowl seemed like, way off in my great-great-grandkids generation. It just did not seem possible. Mm-hmm. And I moved to Dallas, and Dallas has not gone to the Super Bowl. They haven't made it through the playoffs since. However, the Philadelphia Eagles have gone to the Super Bowl twice and won once. I know.
See, that's why we have to stay on our regular side. If it's Eagles, you're just going to be Eagles all day, no matter what.
Yeah. Now I am after 24 years of living in Dallas. I am a Dallas NBA Dallas Mavericks fan. All right, and we have been to the championship twice and won once here. All right, and I want to tell you that's a unique experience looking in an NBA thing. And I think the last time when I lived in Philly, the last time I experienced the Sixers winning was, I want to say, in the 80s. So, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking about Dallas a lot. I might have to make a trip to Dallas eventually. It's been coming up a lot.
I know. It is, we're both speakers, right? We both traveled. Well, I don't travel as much to speaking, but we're both speakers. I liked Dallas as a speaker because of the fact that that's in the heart of the country. Basically, everything's a 2 to 3 hour flight to get anywhere, except for, say, maybe, New York, Boston, or Seattle, Portland, right? Those were a little bit longer flight to get to. But other than that, Dallas is a 2 to 3 hour flight for almost any major city as a speaker, right? Yeah.
Fun facts, right?
It's fun facts. It's just, and I'm going to tell you this just because I know for a fact, not to pick on Pennsylvania. We got much better tax deals down here. I'm just saying.
Oh.
Yeah. For my industry, yes. I'm glad for my industry I live in Texas and not Pennsylvania anymore. because there is definite advantages financially to living here versus other places. I have friends who live in California as a speaker. I don't know how they do it. Like just taxes and the way things go.
Taxes is expensive. Yeah. California is expensive, but
yeah,
I'm going to put on my list Dallas somewhere. Somehow I'm going to make it there.
Come visit Dallas, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, when you come to Dallas, all right, you and I are going to hang out. I'm going to take you to like barbecue places.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Because if I came to Philadelphia, there's one place that I visit every time up there, and I'm sure if I came, you would go with me again.
And where is that?
Pat's on South Street.
That's everybody's favorite, right?
I know. The two things that you want when you're in Philadelphia, Pat's, and you want a pretzel off of a vendor cart. Not in the store. All right, off a vendor cart downtown. That's the best place. And the other thing is like, I've learned to study these towns and what's good, right?
That sounds like a show right there, huh?
Yeah. I do have another podcast that I do with a lady from Portland. We do on alcohol we drink and foods that go with it on Monday nights. But you know what I mean? It would be interesting just talking about what your town has that's cool.
The cool stuff. And we also have water ice, of course. Not everybody has water ice.
Yep. I remember when they were like Rita's water ice was put a location where I lived in Collegeville, Pennsylvania. And that was the most bizarre thing as a business person. Why would you rent a spot that you only have open 5 months a year? Like you got to pay the lease the other 7, and I just didn't get that right as a business. Now, as a product, I love it. But as a business person, I was like, I would never go in that business because of the fact it's a 5 month a year business, if that. Yeah.
But they make enough to make it. And now some of them may do other things like rent out their lot for Christmas.
Yeah. Christmas trees, lots. Yeah, I've seen that too. So, yeah. So let's get down to what Shelly does up there in Philly. What is it that you do and how do you help people?
How do I help people? I am a media consultant. And what that really is I do all things media, and I have TV shows. I write for newspapers, and I actually do social media marketing for several different companies. So that's what I do. And I also have a Motivation Monday network, and that's where I bring in great guests to speak and teach to different entrepreneurs how to move forward in life. So that's what I do.
Wow.
In a nutshell, hopefully.
And Shelly, when did you get into doing this with the media? All right. Did you get into it in the social media age, or were you working with media before the social media became good?
I've been in media since 1995.
Ah, wow. Yeah.
With a television show called Urban Expressions. This month celebrates our 30th year.
Wow.
It started in 1992. I came around in 1995. I started as an intern, working for free. And then I decided free wasn't my thing. So I learned and grew and became the executive producer. By time right now, I am the executive producer, but I physically started as an intern working for free for Urban Expressions. And Urban Expressions was on Channel 48. You remember how we had UHF channels?
I remember 48. Yep, I do. Yep.
For those back in the day who know UHF. So it was a UHF channel, and it was owned by Dorothy Brunson. And Dorothy Brunson is the first African-American woman in the nation to own a TV station. So it's really historical,
That's a huge impact. All right. I remember some things I remember about Philadelphia and media was now I understand he's still on the air up there. Is the two DJs that I grew up listening to. I think John DeBella, I think he's still on 102.9 now, right?
I think so.
I listened to John DeBella on 93.3, the WMMR. I still have the WMMR app on my phone and still listen to it every now and then, but I don't know anybody on there anymore, right? Pierre Robert was there forever. I don't even know if Pierre's still on there, but not connected to Pierre anymore like I was. I tried to get Pierre on my radio show. I'm like, I want to get Pierre on my show because I like them so much. Yeah. But he just doesn't do off-network shows. And I'm like, okay, I give that up. But media was huge to me in Philadelphia. All right. I did. I had a car cleaning business up there as well, an auto body shop, and I worked on several news people who were like the newscaster. I can't remember for like Channel 10. I used to work on his Jaguar.
All right.
Yeah.
fancy cars.
Yeah, well, I don't consider Jaguar a fancy car because I worked on them, but anyway.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. No, they're an all right car, but like after like of all the cars, I got a Mercedes now, and I'm like, Mercedes is more of a classy car than a Jaguar was, but anyway.
Well, it might have been back then. Back then, with the whole Jaguar on the front was different for everybody.
Yeah. Well, no, back then it was the line while my Jag's in the shop, because it almost always was back then. Yeah.
That's true. That is true.
So I mean, so 95 you were with the show. Did you get into all the other media going on in Philadelphia, the regular TV shows, the radio stations, things like that?
Well, that came along as the, I guess, the popularity of what I do. It came along, so I'm doing the TV show, which was one of the popular ones. Mm-hmm. Eventually, we connected with some of the radio stations, and I was able to do a segment. I did a word on the street on Urban Expressions, which was my produced segment. That's how I started in producing. I started producing the word on the street, and then someone said, "Hey, why don't you bring this to the radio station?" The guy name was Albie Silk, and he said, "Hey, do the word on the street during my show," and I did that. I thought it was amazing. And then someone says, "Hey, take your word on the street and put it in my magazine." Word on the street was in the magazine. It was called the Firm magazine, and then it was on the Scene magazine. So it was actually in several different magazines. And then through the years, here we are. Still, I'm doing the word on the street in Scoop, and I write for Uptown Standard newspaper. So I continue to write.
Yeah. It always amazes me when you get involved with one media form, how fast the other media forms kind of form around you. And it seems like that's what happened to you as well. I don't, here in Dallas, I'm a podcaster. I'm not really on TV, but like I'm connected to so many media people in TV and radio here in Dallas because of that. And I never thought about that. When you start doing something media wise, all right, and you did it before social media. How was the transition to social media after being on just TV?
Oh, this is a funny story. It just really happens to be funny. So I kicked and screamed and fought and said, no. And Keith from up the block, he was the host of Urban Expressions, and he went fast and furious into YouTube world. And then it was Rockstar P. He said, you have to, this was MySpace days. He said, you have to do a MySpace. I said, no, you have to. No, I would not do it. So he went, he made my MySpace, gave me the logins and said, do this. And I said, okay, I get in it. And then I'm like, oh, I see. Okay. Because I felt that social media was taking over my job. Basically, I thought that it was taking over. And then I saw it and I said, oh, okay. Oh, wow. And then then when Facebook came along, I just was all over Facebook. I created groups. I had pages. I had friends. I built a whole television show based off of connections I made on Facebook. And then I just prayed and said, God, I love social media. I want to make money doing it. The next week, I got a call for an offer I could not refuse, and ended up in a corporate office in Foreman Mills in the advertising department, running social media for 35 different stores nationally.
Wow.
But I kicked, I screamed, but it ended up being it's my bread and butter,
Well, I remember now, I'm not going to tell you which side of the political realm I'm on, but I remember when Barack Obama got inaugurated. I wrote my blog post that day congratulating him on being the first African-American president of America, right? And not saying I was a fan. That's just one of those things I do. I did that on MySpace because I really wasn't. I mean, Facebook wasn't as big, but it was Twitter and Facebook were just kind of coming along in 2008 when he was elected. And then I go to when his term was done, all right, and how social media had so much changed because he had two terms, right?
2 terms.
And how much it has changed because I put on my what I do now in social media, but I do in a blog post is always, well, thank you, Mr. President, for serving our country, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And we went from Barack Obama to Donald Trump, and then same thing. I'm doing, well, welcome, Mr. Trump. Please know, sir, that I will always back you, and I will always. I'm going to call you my president, whether I like or dislike you. I'm going to respect you. It's always like I do a post like that, like I did for Barack Obama. And I did a thank you to Barack Obama. Mr. Obama, I want to thank you for being our president, all right, for 8 years. And I just, it was a heartfelt, you know what I mean? I may not have always agreed with you type post. And I do this for every president. I may not always agree with you, but I've always respect the fact that you took 8 years of your life, all right, and wore yourself down to serve our country. And I did the same thing when Donald Trump's term in, because to me, a president's a president, right? Mm-hmm. And I had a friend, all right, again, 2008, I had to put it on MySpace because Facebook really wasn't out there yet, right? It wasn't fully out there. Mm-hmm. 2016, I had to get rid of friends who called Barack Obama names. That's the change in social media in an 8-year period of time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I remember, like, I was doing stuff on MySpace, not really no clue what I was doing, but how much it changed over the years. And then when I started my company in 2010, I did have friends tell me, Shelly, you don't need a website anymore. You can do everything on social media. You don't need this. You don't need a podcast. You just do everything on social media. Do you know that every person who told me that has a job working for someone else? And I said in the beginning, you need two things you're going to always need. You're always going to need an email list. You're always going to need a website. Mm-hmm. And they were like, no, you don't need that anymore. It's social media. And I've watched one social media or some platform come along that people will not integrate and realize it's great to engage with you on Facebook, YouTube, whatever it is. If I don't take the relationship off that channel, it will die. It will not stay there. I can't count on the channel being there forever, right? And that's where I learned big on how to use social media. And everybody's like, how are you so successful on social media? I'm like, I'm not. I'm successful at getting people off social media.
Into your tribe, into your community, into your, and that is one of the things I teach on as well. I'm a constant contact partner. And my goal is to get people off of social media into your list, to build your tribe. So if you say, oh, someone says, I want you to put a word out right now to your tribe. If you have them in your tribe and your email list, you can send them right to them.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So, I mean, and I know you said Constant Contact. I think Constant Contact and AWeber, I think they're both like Montgomery County based companies, aren't they?
You know, I never looked into
I know AWeber it was. I know AWeber was like King of Prussia area.
Well, that would be nice to know. I'm going to look into it. I don't know where they come from, but the one thing, you know, it's 100 million companies. Like just like anything, there's a lot of speakers, there's a lot of social media people, there's a lot of everything. Yeah. But when it came down to that day, when it came down to choosing a platform, your CRM. So I get to Foreman Mills, they had no CRM, they had no email list, they didn't have it. Yeah. But one thing I remember was a speaker. This one lady, her name was Marsha. I remember her speaking, and I said she was the nicest lady, the kindest lady in the world. And we kept in touch. So the first thing I called was someone who I had a relationship with, who was kind to me. She spoke on some of my platforms, and I said, Marsha, I want to do this for this big company. It's a huge company, and I just need to figure out how to do it. When I say she came to me, taught me step by step, physically, hand by hand, and I was like, who does that? Who does it? So it was like, if that's what Constant Contact, you know, represents for great, amazing customer service, I don't care if it costs more than the rest. Yeah. I'm in. Yeah. Exactly. So the company is still using them. I'm still using Constant Contact. Then I became a partner because the customer service, hands down, is the best. When she came all the way to me, it made me look smart. Here you go. It made me look smart once I was able to present it. I said, I'm smart now.
I just looked it up real quick, and Constant Contact's actually out of Waltham, Massachusetts, It
Oh
is
wow.
AWeber that is out of Chalfont, Pennsylvania, which was where my first full-time job was, Chalfont, Pennsylvania.
Chalfont, yes, I've heard of it. Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's interesting though. But Constant Contact, I tried them early on, and before I remember trying the MailChimp. And by the way, guys, I will tell you this: if you think you're going to do something business-wise with MailChimp, you look like an amateur. Stop it. Stop it. All right. Now, I'm not going to say, AWeber, Constant Contact is better. You can tell me because you like Constant Contact. I went shopping cart, Kartra, which you've probably noticed from my emails. I went that route. But most people have never stopped to actually talk to a partner with you, like you, from a company to go, is this right for me? Mm-hmm. They follow the advertising and they just try it out, and then they screw it up. And if they don't have a customer service rep like you did, then they get pissed off and go, well, AWeber sucks because you didn't stop to figure it out first.
Yep.
Right? That's why. And whereas...
Yep. And I knew I didn't have... I knew a little bit, but I knew I didn't have what she had. And the fact it was she was just a phone call away. It was, hey, sure, I will. And she was in Pennsylvania and I worked in Jersey. She came all the way to Jersey, walked up the steps and everything. And I said, man, this made me just look so great. And so I guess that's my allegiance. Now, there are some platforms that have better features, that have better this. But the one thing they don't have is the customer service that will knock you off your feet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it all comes down to, like, I have a friend on the West Coast who's very big on Infusionsoft. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not. All right. I am not. I've never was. I used one shopping cart for years. I mean, for years, a version of it, like someone's white brand. And they did very well by me, but they weren't technologically advanced like Kartra. That's why Constant Contact, I think now has shopping cart capabilities. I was trying to do everything all in one because mine's an online business. Mm-hmm. Whereas some people, I mean, and now they have it, you know what I mean? They didn't in 2012 and 13 when I was looking at that. Mm-hmm. All right. So I didn't go with that. But how often are these companies, you have a rep you can talk to? One shopping cart, I always had someone I could call and talk to. MailChimp, no. All right. And that's why I will say, if you're using MailChimp, all right, talk to Shelly or me. Move it. Constant Contact or go shopping cart. Take your pick. Get off of MailChimp. You look like an amateur. And if I could show you, I can tell the people's, I don't know if you can, Shelly. I can tell people's emails from MailChimp of how unprofessional they are. And they have no clue. I can tell a professional email from a Constant Contact, AWeber, Kartra, One Shopping Cart, Infusionsoft. I can tell. And there's another one out there too. I can't think of it, but they look professional.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, they are. It's the professionalism. But I mean, you always go, for me, I always go down to the bottom to see who's the brand.
Yeah. That's it. And that's it. You've got to be able to label. That's it. You also have ways to label it.
Mm-hmm.
For years, I used One Shopping Cart because it didn't have their thing at the bottom. Kartra's has theirs at the bottom because I'm using Kartra's mail feature as opposed to getting an outside one. All right. So to me, it still comes off looking professional. And I'm in Frank Kern's inner circle as well. His emails using Kartra or stuff like that, they look professional, and that's it. Most people are trying to do things for free, for cheap, and I'm sure you've seen them too up there, Shelly. They're all trying to do cheap and free, and it looks it.
Just trying to get people in. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You wouldn't go to the television station with a free or cheap proposal. They'd laugh at you, wouldn't they?
Yes, they would.
Yeah, they want to see some professionalism out there. However, this is something I want your opinions on this. Over the past 2 years, television stations had to rely on a camera they have at home because the host couldn't come into the studio.
Yep.
Yeah. What's your opinion on dealing with that stuff in the media?
In the media, because they have they have what they needed. They were able to pivot. They had the budget they needed to send the equipment home to their people, to send what they needed home to their people. So it all came off looking great. But the most of us had to pivot and didn't have what it took to really do it. We're like, what do we do? What do we do? And what's the best camera and everything like that? I'm still looking for the best camera,
Yeah. So am I, and I think I've got 5 of them here.
Oh, you've got see. I haven't even gone to that part. I stick with the one. And I'm like, all right, here it is. But yeah, but it ended up looking great. Some of them just really.
Hold on, I'll show you some of the things I have that I can switch around, Shelly. So there's my other one there.
Nice.
This one here is just the cheap one. I don't like this camera at all. I never use that one, but those are just 3 I have hooked up. The other 2 are off. They're not on me. They're on the other side of the thing. So
how do you have them set up? So is it just freestanding, or are they?
These ones here are on top of monitors. I have 3 monitors set up, and yeah, like I have a monitor over here so I can pull questions and stuff for things. This is my main monitor where I can see you. You're actually right down here, all right, and stuff like that. And I run a 3 monitor setup, so I basically could be doing stuff on 3 different monitors all day. So I clip them to the monitors. Then I've got this microphone. I had a microphone down here as well, but I packed that one up for the event this weekend. So I had a microphone in case I had to broadcast there. So that's my mobile mic. So, but This studio, this is 3 to 5 years of building this right. I mean, I know when people say, hey, Tim, tell us how you did it. Guys, I got 10 grand wrapped up into this with lights and all that stuff. And I didn't do this all at once,
Took some time, but you were dedicated to what you wanted. This is what you wanted. This is what your studio. This is how you are. Me personally, I am missing live. This is my ends to a mean. This is what I do. But the television show I did single on a Saturday night, which is what I pivoted to during Urban Expressions, was live, and it was about the live experience. It was about the connection. It was about the fun. So I'm just sitting here biding my time, waiting for the time that we can go back and do it live. That's really what I'm waiting for.
Facebook user, we would love to figure out who you are to give you the credit. If you would kindly go to, I think it is it StreamYard.com/Facebook or Facebook.com/StreamYard? One of the 2. You got to go to that and give your Facebook permission to interact, and we can actually find out who you are.
Yeah. Well, hello out there. I'm glad you're listening. I'm glad you're here. Hello.
Oh, it's Rena. All right. Yeah, she's got a cool show. I'm going to be on her show. She was on here a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, Rena. I think that's how you pronounce it. Forgive me, Rena, if I pronounced it wrong. I love you, but I've had a million names thrown in front of me in the past 6 days.
It happens. Yes, it happens.
So Shelly, all right, with the world changing, all right, you're still doing media. What are some things that you think you're going to be doing in the next 2 years with the media and the shows you've got?
With the shows I've got, I am going to 100% go back to live, but the goal is to do them in different areas. Once we're able to get back, and I'm hoping we get back to that point where we can connect on an ongoing basis. So definitely took them on the road. I did a little bit, even though during quarantine, after quarantine, during COVID, I took the show to Charlotte, and that was on my vision board to do a show in different markets. And I actually did one in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I want to do more of that. Definitely want to take Motivation Monday all around. I want to. That's the goal, just to be on tour and make sure everybody and wherever you are knows about what we're doing, because I'm single on a Saturday night is really an experience for anybody single out there. It is just really an experience. It's not just about the talking, it's about the fun afterwards. We do karaoke. It is so fun. And I miss it so much.
Yeah. I know. This was the first this past weekend was the first big live conference that I went to in 2 years. Now I've gone to smaller, 20-person meetups here and there, but this was the first conference that I've gone to in 2 years. And I'm like, oh my God, this feels so good to be back in a live room with people. Yes. And, my friends from all over the country. I had friends coming in from Florida, California, up the Northeast where you were at. I had one friend came from Baltimore, from Washington. They're all coming in. It just felt good to be in a room with people again. I know I'm here in the Dallas area. I am starting up my meetups again this week. All right. I have unfortunately, I'm stuck on a certain day because that's the day the venue is available for me. It's the second Thursday of every month. And everybody's like, you didn't give me enough heads up. I'm like, I was in and out of sickness for 2 months. I wasn't sure I was going to host it. So, but yeah, live and in person, it's just something about seeing the people live again.
It is. It's something about it. It's the connection. I mean, I started Motivation Monday Network. It was 3 years ago. And, you know, from the connection, we built a whole community, which is what the goal is, to build our community. But we missed each other. But throughout the pandemic, throughout it, we could continue to connect, continue to do things because we missed that whole interaction. And just, it's just nothing like it. And of course, I'm glad and I'm thankful that we had the whole Zoom and StreamYard and this whole thing to fall back on. I am glad. Wouldn't change it for the world, but I'm glad we had it. But it's nothing like the live, and I'm hoping to be back soon. Hoping.
Yeah. So are things kind of opened up in Philly to where you can do them in Philly or no? I don't know.
You can, but they have the you have to be vaccinated and you have to show proof of vaccination. So that has slowed some people down because not everybody is vaccinated and not everybody will be vaccinated. So, you know, you have to show your card to even get in the restaurant, because I had it in TGI Fridays on City Line Avenue because they're my client, and you have to show proof. So I haven't gone back yet because of that, for that reason, because I would have done it this month.
Another reason to come to Texas, just saying. We don't do that down here.
Oh no, really? No proof of vaccination.
Nope.
Can't get in the building without you.
As a matter of fact, our governor was so against that. He said, "No, I want freedom. All right, I want to put people in charge of their own destiny. All right. If you're not smart enough to stay home when you're sick, you deserve to get sick, right? But yeah, they're pretty much. We have a lot of people down here who go, you know what? You know, we're about freedom, letting you in. All right. If you're sick, please stay home. And that's what everybody says. If you're sick, please stay home. Don't come if you're sick. If you got a fever, you got any symptoms. That's just common sense. I mean, growing up, we had that common sense, right? I think our generations have lost it. All right.
I mean, to be honest with you, you can show proof of vaccination and walk in that door and still be sick. Vaccination does not say you don't get the
Nope.
COVID. It doesn't say that. I know plenty of people who were vaccinated and got COVID. So it doesn't necessarily stop you from, you could be walking in full of COVID and still, but this is what's happening in Philadelphia. So that's why I haven't gone back to Motivation Monday live because of that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is a changed world, all right, and we've got to adapt. All right, we're doing events down here. Like my Thursday event, I can fit 40 people in the room. I'll only let in 20. I will let people spaced unless they move their chairs together, all right, but I space it out when they walk in. I've got the spacing set so that if it was up to me to place their seating, I've given them space, and I'm all about that, right? If they want to move their seats together and get close, it's up to them, not me, all right? They've taken it on themselves. But my wife works in and out of hospitals. And this last time in January where I got it, again, my wife, we thought that maybe it's just like my wife's vaccinated and she's never had COVID, but she thought maybe there's a chance she carried it to me.
Right.
And like, we don't know this thing, all right? But I love Mike Rose. You know, he's another great media person. I love Mike Rose's outlook on this. He basically said, he said, these are my 3 things onto it. Number 1, we're probably all going to get it. Number 2, it's not going away.
Oh, wow.
All right. And number 3, it's a 99% survival rate. You know, take better care of your dang health so you have a chance of surviving when you get it.
Yes.
Right? It doesn't guarantee it, but it's still. Anyway, these are common sense things that I don't want to take the whole show to use to do that.
Right, but I understand. So that is really what has been, you know, hindering a lot of things right now. Just the whole thing. Yeah.
Cool. Are you doing a weekly broadcast with your show now, or no? From Zoom or no?
No, I am not. I do monthly. Motivation Monday was monthly. Single on a Saturday night was monthly. So everything is monthly. But right now, me personally, I have embarked on a 30 interviews in 30 days. Awesome. Thing to celebrate, of course, 30 years for Urban Expressions and Black History Month. So this is day 8 of 30 interviews in 30 days. So this is, and I'm doing that all via Zoom, of course.
So 30 days, 30 interviews. Are you on 30 people?
I'm on 8. I'm on number 8.
Are you on 30 other people's shows, or you're hosting 30 shows?
I'm hosting 30 is I'm interviewing 30 people in 30 days. So each person.
So what day is Tim Gillette on?
Okay, Tim. Okay. We might have to schedule that. See, Tim has a great scheduling system. And I was like, I should have done it like Tim. But no, I didn't do it quite like that. I didn't have the great scheduling system where you could put all the information in. I thought that was amazing. And I'm sure that came through Kartra.
It did. Well, it's partially Kartra, partially Calendly. But you know why I did that?
Why?
In May of 2020, I did 100 interviews in 30 days.
What?
And I had to refine the system so that I could work through them fast, because I was doing 3 and 4 interviews a day.
Why 100? Why 130?
That was the beginning of the pandemic in May, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do something. I'm going to just do something. That's the key thing, was find yourself some way to keep moving, right? And I'm like, I know what I can do, and I did 30 days. It was, and I came just in short of 100. All right. But like, I planned it out, and I had my schedule. I was interviewing people up until like 8, 9 at night. Right.
Oh my goodness.
That helped me come up with that system to simplify it. And like this conference this weekend that I was at, people were like, I want to be on your podcast. Great. Go to timgillette.com/podcast interview and apply. Well, can we do it? I'm like, I don't look at the calendar. I don't look at the schedule. I don't do with the back and forth. I said, it's all automated.
It is a great system. I would love to learn how you did it, because I was sitting there like, I tried Calendly. It didn't work for me. Maybe I just didn't know what I was doing. And I said, all right, but this is great. I love the way that when it was just so seamless and effortless. It was like, it's happening. It's happening.
Yeah. The 2 things you need to make this work, ladies and gentlemen, and like I see Rena still in the comments saying, she went through it too. And actually, Debbie Allen, is it Debbie Allen just emailed me this morning on it. She booked her slot yesterday or something like that. And then, she booked her slot yesterday, and I then the system switches you over to podcast date booked sequence. And the first one is you get an email, my commitment to you. She wrote back, she goes, Tim, this is like awesome. This is like this class act of how you handle it. I'm like, it came down to every inch of what you do. And you probably are this way in media, every inch of what you do, wherever you see a problem develop, find a solution. That's all I do. And that's business. Find a solution that will fix that problem. And truthfully, as everybody goes, you're a great marketer. I'm not always that great at marketing, but I'm great at putting stuff like this. My system of using funnels, Kartra, all right, Calendly, all that's the most refined, perfect system I have down. My other stuff is nowhere near as perfected as that. Why? Because I haven't had enough traffic moving through it to find loopholes and problems. And in media, there's always problems. There's always a fire that's got to be put out.
Yes. Oh. Well, I know what I'm going to ask when someone says, my question for Wednesday. I know the answer. Teach me.
So, yeah.
Woo-hoo, I got my answer. Oh, man, I'm excited. Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's it. All right. I love it. Well, I love that mastermind that we connected, because I didn't know anything about you until I was in that until you showed up in that mastermind. All right. And I love it that's how we get to know each other and know each other's business and stuff like that. So it's cool. It's cool. So, as we get closer on down towards the end here, there's 2 questions I've started putting into every interview, Shelly. One of them was in 1988, because of what happened to me in 1988. In 1988, I worked part-time at a gas station in Tewksbury, Massachusetts. And I was having problems with people who had more seniority than me coming into the gas station and getting in my way on my shift. And I went to my boss and I said, Frank, so-and-so's being a problem. What do I do? And Frank said, Tim, when you are here and you're running a shift from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m., I want you to pretend like you own this business and run it like you own the business. If it costs $1, it's $1 out of your pocket. If you make $1, it's $1 going into your pocket. You do that and you will never have a problem. that caused Tim Gillette to take ownership of everything he does in his life.
Mm-hmm.
Did someone give Shelly advice? It might have been, hey, Shelly, this is how you get through the 5th grade, but it became life advice.
Yes. When I was in high school, I kind of breezed through high school. I wasn't really one of those students. It just everything seemed to come easy, so I just did whatever. But I was late every day for school on my last year, like every day. And the teacher wrote, you have to, and it was a business class, and my goal was to be in business. And she wrote in my yearbook, you have to get up early to be a success. And from that moment on, I got up early. I was on time, and it just became my thing. I can't, and I like to be up early on time. I can imagine being late every day, but when I say I was late every day, it was like, oh well, it's just school.
Did you see the meme that came out? I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I seen it on Facebook where the guy said, when I was young, my dad, when I was young, and I went to soccer practice, if I showed up late, the coach made me run laps around the field. The problem is that my dad was the coach and he drove me there.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, it was that. I didn't even think about it. It just was like that last year of school was so easy. It was just like, oh well.
Yeah. I know. It's just, and it's funny that like, you never think that like, that's just like, what, 5 words, and it impacted your life.
Impacted my life. I will never, it's like, I would never forget it. You have to get up early to be a success. And of course, my goal was to be a success. Even then I wanted to be a success. So yes, I said, oh, okay, ma'am, thank you.
Yep. Thank you. I will quote you for the rest of my days.
For the rest of my days, I will get up early so I can be a success. And I believe I'm a success.
Yeah, exactly. So the other question I have has a little downside to it. All right.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
August of this past year, I got to interview a longtime friend of mine. Like him and I went back almost 20 years. When he first came to Dallas, he crashed on my couch, like, because he had no place to go.
Mm-hmm.
I interviewed him in August, and within days of the interview, he got COVID and passed away.
Oh man.
I found out by someone leaving a comment on the YouTube video. That's how I found out I lost my friend. But now I realize thousands upon thousands of people who are in his community came to watch that interview because it's their last chance to see him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Shelly, I don't want something to happen to you, all right? But someday you and I aren't going to be on this earth. We're going to be in heaven rejoicing. I'm going to tell you right now. We're going to be dancing in the golden streets, you and I.
Yes.
But somebody's going to search for this interview because they want to find out one more bit of wisdom from you after you've gone. What would you say to those people?
What would I say to those people? Don't give up. Don't give up. This road to entrepreneurship, business, media is hard, but don't give up. And I definitely got that from one of my mentors, which was Dorothy Brunson. I never quit because you can't quit. You know how many times car repossession, house and everything, but yet I never gave up. No matter what people say, you sure you don't want to get a job? That's the number one thing people say. You're sure you don't want to go get a job? Yeah. Yes, I'm positive. I don't want to go get a job. I'm positive. And I'm going to work through this and I'm going to keep going because I know one day I won't have those problems.
Yeah, yeah.
One day everything that I was working for is going to work. And I'm at that day. I'm at that day where I'm not worried about repossession and I'm not worried about my house being foreclosed on. I'm not worried about those things because I kept working. And I did not go get a job.
Yeah. I met a gentleman this past weekend at this event who told the story. He has a worldwide networking business now. It's just one of his businesses. And he talked about when he was creating that and said how he's there sitting there with the man who helped him create this and our architect to design this at a meeting, designing it, and his wife calls from the store. Her debit card doesn't work. It's like you're sitting down with greatness and these great big things are coming in front of you. And the biggest worries you have is your wife's on the phone and you got $20 in your bank account and your wife's got to buy diapers for 5 kids. And you're like, yeah. And he said to me, the greatest thing in the world I had a wife who supported me in business. And I just said, honey, get what you can. I'll deal with this later. I'm in a meeting right now. Get what we need. I will deal with this later. And he said, most of you would have gave up and went and got a job because all you had was $20 left in your bank account. And I've been through it too. I've been through bad credit. I've been through all that stuff. I rented rooms in Dallas because I couldn't rent an apartment. And I remember the greatest joy in my life was being able to make the connection, Shelly. And while renting a room in someone's house, buying a rental property and renting it out. That was, I don't have to be driving the Mercedes to be successful. That was a moment of success.
Indeed it was. Yes.
Yeah. So, and so many of us that we miss that artist. And yeah, I think the definition of entrepreneur is the person willing to work 85 hours a week to avoid getting a 40-hour-a-week job.
and that is a fact. But I believe that we're working 85 hours right now. But there's going to be a moment where I'm not going to have to work 85 hours. And there's going to be a moment where I can be able to say, you know what, I'm going to take off for a month and I'll see you in a minute because the passive income will have been there. But everything that I'm setting up right now will be there. And that is the number one goal for that day. Because I do plan on going on a vacation for a month. I do. I'm going to go on vacation for a month. For 30 days in interviews, I'm going to go on a 30-day vacation one day.
I did in 2010, like after I left working for Starbucks, which was my income, and kind of go back into planning new businesses. I took 30-day motorcycle road trip.
Did you?
I left here and drove to California, drove all the way up the coast to Seattle, drove through Montana, Wyoming, all these states, right? And all along the way, people were like, what are you going on this trip for? I'm like, well, I said, I left one Saturday morning to go out for a motorcycle ride, and I just haven't turned around to go back home yet. But I could afford it at the time. And, that's it. This past weekend, I could afford to take 5 days off, go help my friend with his business. And I didn't have to go, well, let me check my email real quick. No, I was able to pause my business and still have money coming in.
And that's where I'm trying to be. So listen, I'm ready to get in one of your masterminds too. Cause I've noticed from the beginning of the mastermind, I was like, man, Tim really has these systems in place.
Tim's got it down. Anyway, well, Shelly, I want to make sure people reach out to you, connect. All right. I know you're on all the social channels and all that, but the biggest thing about our show is we want to make sure we connect with websites. What is the best website people can reach you at and find out more about you?
ShellyShellWilliams.com.
Shelly Shell Williams. So I got to ask, why the Shelly Shell?
Two things. In the past, before the shows, bro, and then people call me Shelly Shell. It was a thing. And then when I went to brand myself after working the 9 to 5, I realized Shelly Shell. You Google Shelly Shell, she comes up because I was on Urban Expressions. And I said, you can Google Shelly Williams, and 1 million people come up. But Shelly Shell, it's only one me. Did you go get
ShellyShell.com?
I did not look for that. No.
If it's available, I'd lock that in.
I will go look for that.
Yeah.
That duly noted. I will definitely do that. But there is one DJ named Shelly Shell, so he might have gotten it. But I will go look for it. But that's where it came from. I say, you know what? I want people to know that that's me, Shelly Shell Williams. You just go.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Using the brandage around. Yeah, Tim Gillette's my name, but all the stuff I was known for, I did. Over the years, it's been different things, and when it comes along, if it's something that I can grab the domain name, I grab it, just point it to timgillette.com. But yeah, it's just, that's what you do, is you use all those things to your advantage. Smart. So before you go,
I'm telling you, you're going to learn a lot from Tim Gillette.
Before you go, Shelly, I have a game I play with every guest that's been on my show. The version of the game right now is I have 7 envelopes, numbers 1 through 7. You get to pick 3 of them, and I'm going to ask you the questions that are in those envelopes. So pick 3 numbers.
7.
Love it.
5. And 3.
And 3. My favorite number 3.
Oh, really?
These ones here, you will have no idea what's in those.
All right, 7, 5, and 3. What are we going to do?
7, 5, and 3.
What are we
And
going
we
to talk
open up
about?
envelope number 7. And we go to question number 1. Ice cream cone or snow cone?
Ice cream cone.
Oh, like, which brand ice cream cone? I'm curious. Where do you go?
I like, there's no particular brand I like. I just go to little, there's a place near me. It's like a little shop. It's almost like a Rita's, but it's a little shop, and I go, and it's on the corner. And if I'm going to the highway, sometimes pull over and get my ice cream cone from it.
Well, no. I remember the old. Now I remember it was Dairy Queen or Carvel where they had the old swirly one, and then they would dip it.
Oh yes! Oh my goodness! Yes, I want some ice cream now.
Yeah. Question number 2: what is worse, laundry or dishes?
Laundry, because you have to. There's so much more involved. You have to gather the clothes, then you have to separate the clothes, then you have to put them in, then you have to go in the washer, then you have to wait, then you got to put them in the dryer. Oh my goodness, it's such a process.
Yeah, but laundry's done in one day. Dishes you have to do every day.
Yeah, but that process, it's never ending.
There's a system down to make it easier.
Systems. That's what Tim Gillette does. He has the systems. I need the system. You have the correct system.
Oh, that's funny. All right, question number 3 and envelope number 5 is pancake or waffles?
Waffles.
Oh, yeah. I love it. High five. Yeah.
Ooh, yes. Waffles. Yes.
So, no. So I know you don't have them up there, but when I moved to the South, Waffle House. It is the greasiest of junk breakfast food out there, but it is so good.
It is definitely good, but that's why I like going to diners, because diners always have the fresh Belgian waffles. Yes. Oh my goodness.
I miss the Philadelphia diners. That's the one thing I miss, because there's not like it's not like McDonald's everywhere. It's a diner. It's a different family on almost every corner.
It is. I love diners. Yep.
I miss that about Philadelphia. So, envelope number 5, question number 1: would you rather go bowling, or play putt-putt golf?
Bowling.
Yeah. Really? You're a bowler?
I'm not an expert, but I love bowling. Bowling is such a stress reliever.
Oh, really?
You ever think about what's on the other end and you mad at anybody, any frustration? You take the ball, you throw it down, and then boom, it just knocked all your troubles away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Stress reliever.
Got a point. So yeah. Well, let's move on. Question number 2: dog or cat?
Neither. Sorry. Not an animal person. Sorry.
Wait a minute. I wasn't either. 2014, we got a 1-bedroom condo. We had a huge lake house, and we moved to a 1-bedroom condo. And my oldest stepson, my boys' stepsons, actually got an apartment together. And because it was an apartment, they could only have 2 pets. And they had they had 2 cats and a dog. So the oldest comes to me and said, the nice cat, he says, Tim, can you guys keep my cat at your house for 6 months until we're able to move from the apartment to a bigger place? I said, okay. A year later, I'm like, that cat's mine now. You lost it.
Oh my! You became a cat person.
He was part of my life until February 2021. He was just so sick. It was the toughest decision, toughest day in the world for me, when they said to me, well, we can do this and this and this, and maybe if he's got enough health in 5 days, we can try to do testing on him. And I'm like, this is the 4th time we've done this, and he's just not coming back. I'm going to make a decision that was so hard for me, and I let him put him down. And I said, it's just, I don't want to remember him being like this. I want to remember all the cool times we had and stuff like that. But I became a cat person by accident.
Now I'm going to say I'm neither, but I did have a cat. My nephew lived with me for a year, and it was the most amazing year. But it came with a cat called Polito. Polito.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not a cat person, Polito, I have 1 million. If you look at my phone, there's 1,000,001 pictures of Polito, because he just kept coming near me. Yeah, and I'm like, do you know I'm allergic to you? I'm allergic to you. I'm allergic to cats. I'm allergic to dogs. But do you know he just kept coming near me. But if I had to say, I don't know if I'm a cat person, but I'm a Paulito person.
Which one? Yeah, which one do you prefer? I guess I should have asked. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just Paulito. He was just he didn't make it either. He got sick years later. But if I had to say, I'm just a Paulito. So I guess I would say cat, because he was hilariously like, I know you don't like me, but I'm going to come over there next to you anyway. I'm going to sit next to you anyway. I'm going to just be your friend anyway.
Yeah, cool. So last question in envelope number 5 is Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks?
Starbucks.
Starbucks? All right.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, when I lived up there, it was Dunkin' Donuts. Down here, it's Starbucks, because there's very few Dunkin' Donuts, and it just does not taste the same down here.
I would say it doesn't. Fun fact here is I have never had a cup of coffee a day in my life. Mm-hmm. So I'm not choosing between coffees, because that's
it's the other things they have. Yeah.
It was the other things. I have recently spent some time going to Starbucks, and I've enjoyed what they had, but no coffee a day in my life.
Cool. Well, that will take that envelope. Envelope number 3, our final envelope. Question number 1. Did you see the movie The Matrix?
Of course, yes. Mm-hmm.
So which one did you choose, the red pill or the blue pill?
It's funny. I don't know.
You don't remember what they are.
I don't remember. And I just saw the newest one. And I was very disappointed. But
I'm not going to see it yet. So the red pill, all right, is the term red pill or blue pill refer to the choices between the willingness to learn a potential unsettling, life-changing truth by taking the red pill, or become ignorant to what was going on in the world and take the blue pill. So which one would you choose, red pill or blue pill?
Red pill.
Most people do. So.
Yeah, definitely red pill. Who wants to
hit me with the truth? All right, quit playing pansy-wansy with all this stuff. Just let's get on with it. All right, I don't want to be ignorant of what's going on. Anyway.
No, not at all. The truth. It always said the truth shall set you free. So.
That's right. You can tell we're a little bit founded in the same book, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
Question number 2 in this envelope number 3: McDonald's or Taco Bell if you have to go get fast food?
McDonald's. McDonald's is my favorite place.
I love McDonald's food.
So, yes.
I would rather go to McDonald's than go out to a gourmet restaurant.
Well, I used to. I did change that a little bit, but yes, I used to. I grew up. My mother loves McDonald's, her quarter pounder with cheese. So she loves McDonald's, and I've loved it because my mommy loves it.
The last question in envelope number 3 is Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars. I love Star Wars. Yes.
I know.
Nothing like Star Wars.
Yeah. Some people are kind of one or the other. So, and did you like did you see, you didn't see Star Wars like in the 70s and 80s?
No, but the one I like is Empire Strikes Back. So.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't see them live at that time. I seen them later, and I still like the originals more than some of the newer stuff. Yeah. That episode 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I can get away with not watching that ever again. Yeah.
No, I'm not a hardcore, but I do like it. I definitely like the era of the Empire Strike Back. It was just one of those eras. But yes, Star Wars. Woohoo!
Cool. Well, Shelly, I want to take this time to thank you for being on the show today. Take time out of your schedule, be my guest, and share with my audience your story, your information. Repeat your website one more time so both the audio as well as the video people can come find you.
ShellyWilliams.com.
Cool.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I'm so excited. I got to know you more. You got to know more. It's such a great thing.
It's just that's what I like about this podcast. I basically am doing nothing but having a conversation and recording it.
I love it.
Yeah. To you guys, the listeners, I want to thank you for tuning in and getting to know me as well as Shelly today. Do me a favor, go to ShellyWilliams.com and check out Shelly and all that she has to do. And please subscribe to both our YouTube channel as well as where you get your podcasts. I will be back in a couple more days with another great guest. Have a great week, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye.